Welcome to Hypnosis Today, the nation's first web TV talk show that explores the fascinating world of hypnotherapy. Hello, my name is Lisa Machenberg, and I'll be your host, covering a wide variety of subjects to help you understand the power of the subconscious mind and how hypnosis is being used today to help people achieve success, happiness, and prosperity. It is my pleasure to introduce you to Mike Zykoff, who has founded the Zykoff Life Care, and he's going to teach us all today how you can take your hypnotherapy practice out of the office and into real-life situations with your clients. Please help me to welcome Mike Zykoff. Well, Mike, first of all, I want to thank you so much for coming to Hypnosis Today, and tell us a little bit about how you got into the healing arts.
I will do. Thank you for asking. When I was a kid, I always felt like I had this gift, something that was going on within me that always was able to move people, help people to smile, help people to feel better. I took that gift, what I considered as a gift, because I noticed how my parents reacted, how family reacted, and I wanted to go into the film business. So I did that. I pursued film studies and became a filmmaker. And so came out of college, went into filmmaking as a music video director and a producer. Was doing that for many, many years, and never found satisfaction, complete satisfaction. It was a lot of fun. And then something happened in my life that was quite dramatic, and my mother passed away. And I watched this experience of her going through doing what the doctor said, but yet she didn't get better, and then she passed away. And then the next couple of years I found myself just really lost and just not understanding, and I felt completely rather helpless in the process. And I said, I know I need to take a different path right now because I want to be part of a solution. How can I help someone to feel better, to get their life back on track? After noticing what happened with my mom. And so what I was able to do was take the creativity that I applied in the entertainment, everything that I knew from when I was a child, to begin to now approach that into a healing, and to take this kind of approach into healing care to help people to understand something better about themselves.
So what path did you take to get initially into the healing arts?
The first thing I did was study body work, massage therapy. I had a personal epiphany, surprised me, surprised everyone that I knew, that I said, I'm going to let go of what I'm doing in the entertainment business, and I'm going to do healing work. And what I learned was doing body work was the fastest way to be able to help somebody without having to know anything about them. So meaning, you know, if you just, someone's feeling down, if you give them a hug, that makes a big difference sometimes. You hold somebody's hand, it makes them feel better.
Absolutely, and there's research that supports that. But when you did the body work, it wasn't enough. You wanted to incorporate using the mind as well as the body, and it brought you to HMI. What year was that?
That was 2005. Prior to getting here to HMI, when I started studying body work, I noticed that this was, because you're right on, that I needed to explore more and find out how to do this better and faster. So working with the body was a great technique to help people, but then I expanded that into understanding the mind-body concept. So I became certified as a holistic health practitioner. And a holistic health practitioner is just that, understanding how our life influences what goes on in the body, and vice versa. After applying this work for several years, for about 5 or 6 years, I noticed it was time to do something next, to take it to the next level, to get inside the mind a little bit more. And that's when I discovered HMI. And studied hypnotherapy.
Something very interesting happened after you got your certificate here and started to use hypnotherapy in conjunction with your body work. As a matter of fact, you told me that you, for 5 years in a row, made the list of LA's best, and it was LA's best healing massage for 5 years in a row. And how did the hypnotherapy, how did you incorporate it into your body work to make all that difference?
Well, it went like this. When I was doing body work, from the get-go, I just knew there was a calling for it. There was something that just made sense, something that was really easy. And again, I didn't need to know much about somebody to be able to help them. So just to be able to find a trigger point in their physicality, or to know where the discomfort was, just to be able to cradle it and just to hold on to it and to say hello to whatever the discomfort was. There was a way that I was able to get someone to drop into a deep state of comfort very quickly. Didn't know what that was, it just was intuitive for me. Came to HMI, and honestly, within the first month of the program, there were some basic mind principles that were taught that I took right away and applied to the work that I was doing.
Do you remember which ones really resonated with you?
I'm not sure if I'm going to get the terminology right. However, just the concept of, you can help me with this a little bit, is the state of overload. Flooding the mind with information. Creates a state of overload, which then allows us to drop into that state of hypnosis. Okay? So, working with the physical discomfort, what there is an immense amount of tension that's stored, and the body doesn't know what to do with it, so it's just kind of trapped. To take this approach of pinpointing, zeroing in on a specific area in a discomfort, and to really focus your attention on that area, suddenly releases an immense amount of discomfort, an immense amount of trapped energy, and that begins to flood the body.
Yes.
So it's just released, and that overloads the brain. As soon as that happens, the brain, the individual drops into a deep state of consciousness and allows for the body to begin to heal. Because what happens here is like the mind is always controlling what goes on in the body,
Yes.
which is, I guess, what we're going to talk about here in a few moments too, is that state of overload that we're constantly in doesn't allow the body to actually heal itself. It keeps the body in a suspended state of discomfort
Yes.
that is such low grade that we don't pay attention until something dramatic happens. Once that happens, we go seek care. So what I've learned in the process of helping people to heal their bodies is to acknowledge, first of all, to get to pay attention to their body and to know that there might be some tension that you didn't even notice you had.
Yes.
Once you begin to notice that, you can begin to release it. But doing body work specifically to get to where we were lucky enough to be the best of Los Angeles was a matter of just applying this technique of let go of the immense amount of tension that's
Yes.
trapped. It floods the brain gets into overload, drops off, lets go of its connection to the body. Once that happens, the body has its ability to find its own natural healing again.
And towards the end of the session, with the massage and the body work, you added guided imagery. Tell us about that.
Yeah, there's that aspect of, it's one thing to take a being to that state,
Yes.
but then the therapeutic part is being able to guide them to help them better understand what's happening so they can then have a control within themselves, so they can learn to have a tool that they can now manage their energy differently. So the guided imagery that would come at the end of a session or throughout a session to help the individual again pay attention to what's happening in their body, to pay attention to how they're thinking about their body or not thinking about their body.
Yes.
And so to take somebody on a guided path, walking through, say, the vessels of the body, the blood vessels,
Yes.
to really connect with what it feels like inside, to claim that ownership.
Absolutely.
And once you have ownership, then you have a different relationship.
So there was another shift that happened that you told me about, Mike, over this summer, when you realized you were being encumbered and even distracted by having an office and having the business obligations of having an office, and you decided to go on a new path. Tell us about it.
Yeah. See, everything seems to be exactly perfect the way life works. And if we pay attention to that, and that's a principle that I live with, that I try to impart on people that I work with, it's just, first of all, nothing is a problem. Everything that feels like a discomfort is really a symptom. It's giving you information about something else that you're not paying attention to. And so over the last couple of years, part of my vibration was that I needed to change something. Yes. But I had built up this great office, this great practice,
Sure.
we got these accolades. I said, well, we have to keep doing this because that's what people are responding to. And then I realized it's not right for me, but I'm doing it anyway. And so the discomfort started to build up, meaning I started to pay more attention to managing the office, trying to keep things clean, trying to pay all the bills, trying to, do the advertising and the promotion, working to manage other practitioners. And it took me away from the purpose of actually caring for people. So that built up over time. This past summer it just came to the point where I was like, things have to change. Let go of the office, let go of the accolades, all that kind of stuff, and just went bare bones, stripped everything back down into what I now call life care.
Tell me, what is life care and how do we take hypnotherapy out of the four corners of our office?
Well, that's a great question. See, what I noticed too was that we spend a lot of time with people, they come into the room and they become sequestered. In the sequestered space, healing can happen. And that's what people learn to believe. And I go, well, that's not really true. Healing should happen. Healing is a mindset. It's not something you have to go do. It's something you should live with. And so taking this out of the office, taking an individual out into the public world where they live, where they function, such as whether it's in their home or we go for a walk in the park or go on a hike or go for lunch and do this work live while you're in the middle of your life the way you live.
Wait, so let me, I'm going to hold your feet to the fire here.
Sure.
I'm asking you to take me through. So you get a phone call, let's pick something vocational, avocational, like someone calls up and says, hey Mike, can you help me with the writer's block? Take me through from the first phone call.
Okay. Before I say yes to whether or not I can help them, which I believe I can, but I need to understand them more.
Yes.
So my answer, or my question to them is, what got you to pick up the phone today? Why are you calling me today? If you've been living with this for a while, what motivated you today to pick up this phone and make the call and do something? And that gives some background information right away. Well, because blank, blank, blank. And they give me some feedback on what motivates their desires. And so I go, oh, that's interesting, thank you. So someone, like writer's block, we go down the creative path, which all healing is creative. And that's something to pay attention to give ourselves some permission to explore healing instead of having to have it done a certain way.
Yes.
And so one of the things I love to do is take someone out into the public, out into life, again, because certainly with creative work, to get the body moving, get the physiology engaged. And something specific like writer's block, when you just consider the words that we use and how important they are to the life that we live, when someone is dealing with a block, most importantly we want to get them moving so we get past the block. And so as the physiology is engaged, we start to talk and the mind opens itself, again, because we're in that state of hypnosis all the time, and certainly in regular life. The objective then is to begin to practice your focus, because writer's block is a matter of getting distracted anyway. And any unwellness is a matter of distraction. We're not paying attention to ourselves.
Yes.
And so the idea of calling something a problem just means you're paying more attention to something other than you. And so we go for a walk and just talk, and for the first 15, 20 minutes we're just walking, allowing the individual just to express what's happening for them. What their feelings are, what they like, what they don't like. Also getting to pay attention to how they interact with the world around them.
And you can teach them how to concentrate and how to focus even when there's distractions.
And that's the key part to this. Exactly right. Because in the office, when we're sitting still, there's no distraction. So it's really easy to pay attention to what we're doing. In the real world, you have to actually do a little bit of effort, put a little bit of effort and work into being on point during the session, which is immediate training. So when you're done with the session, then you now have a tool that you can use when you go back to your regular day.
Every place. Yeah. You can use it at Starbucks. You can use it when your office and the cat starts to meow.
Fair enough.
Wow.
And it's exactly right. So you just go, wait, I don't need to focus on that. I need to focus here. This is what's important right now.
Yes.
And that's where healing begins.
So you started that this summer. So with Zykoff Life Care, what do you see for your future with this endeavor of hypnotherapy out of the office?
Thank you for asking that too. It's interesting. One of the things that I've run into, and I've talked to other practitioners, is that it's difficult sometimes for people to commit the time to come in and the cost of a session and seeing people one-on-one. Again, for me, the creative spirit that I have, the desire that I have to care for people, one-on-one is not enough. So I was like, how can I provide a service that's low cost, that can give people access to this kind of care to retune their mind any place, anytime? So I've developed Zykoff Life Care, which is a web service now. It's an audio service. And for less than $20 a session, and there's a subscription that's being developed now too, that for probably close to $10 a month, you have access to multiple programs in a month, all less than 20 minutes, some of them maybe even 5 minutes, just to remind you to get your mind back on point. It's like having a good friend that sits there and says, hey, you know what? I think you forgot about what you were doing.
Yes.
And then, oh yeah, thank you, thanks for that, thanks, you're right, I did forget. And that's what the service is about, for very low cost to be able to help people.
And so it's not individualized. It is something that can be used like as a group hypnosis or a group meditation, which can apply to many different types of people in specific situations.
Yes.
With that in mind, if it's okay, I'd like for you to ask in our second segment, if you can do a group hypnosis for us here, what topic would you like to talk about?
Perhaps we can do something with money and being a receiver.
Do you know what? I'd really like that. So I'm going to ask you to hold that thought, because we're going to take a short break. But please stay tuned, because when we come back, we're going to talk more with Mike Zykoff about taking hypnotherapy out of the four corners of your office. And we're actually even going to have a little bit of a treat, a sneak preview of ZykoffLifeCare.com.
Yeah.
And we're all going to have a group hypnosis to be receptive to prosperity and abundance, or to quote you, money. So please stay tuned, and we'll be right back with Hypnosis Today. And I'll be your host, covering a wide variety of subjects to help you understand the power of the subconscious mind and how hypnosis is being used today to help people achieve success, happiness, and prosperity. It is my pleasure to introduce you to Mike Zykoff, who has founded the Zykoff Life Care, and he's going to teach us all today how you can take your hypnotherapy practice out of the office and into real-life situations with your clients. Please help me to welcome Mike Zykoff. Well, Mike, first of all, I want to thank you so much for coming to Hypnosis Today. And tell us a little bit about how you got into the healing arts.
I will do. Thank you for asking. When I was a kid, I always felt like I had this gift, something that was going on within me that always was able.
Welcome to Hypnosis Today, the nation's first web TV talk show that explores the fascinating world of hypnotherapy. Hello, my name is Lisa Machenberg.
To move people, help people to smile, help people to feel better. I took that gift, what I considered as a gift, because I noticed how my parents reacted, how family reacted, and I wanted to go into the film business. So I did that. I pursued film studies and became a filmmaker. And so Came out of college, went into filmmaking as a music video director and a producer. Was doing that for many, many years, and never found satisfaction, complete satisfaction. It was a lot of fun. And then something happened in my life that was quite dramatic, and my mother passed away. And I watched this experience of her going through doing what the doctor said, but yet she didn't get better, and then she passed away. And then the next couple of years I found myself just really lost and just not understanding, and I felt completely rather helpless in the process. And I said, I know I need to take a different path right now because I want to be part of a solution. How can I help someone to feel better, to get their life back on